Hello, this is Bad Vibes. Today's video is about humans' best friend and how they can be a lifesaver. I have a Roddy pup. She's 5 months. She's a terror, but I know that she'll protect me and my family if anything was to happen. So shout out to all the dogs out there, and sit back, relax, and enjoy. This just happened to me a few years ago. I'm in my mid-20s, single female, who lives in a rural small town. As a woman, we're taught many things growing up. Unfortunately, I'm not the best at remembering or thinking things through. Because of this, the one rule that always stuck out was keeping a large, intimidating dog with me at all times, which may have saved me from an abduction at the gas station. I'm a bit of a night owl. Okay, completely a night owl. I'm most productive around 2 a.m. One night, I was really on a roll. I finished cleaning my entire house, my homework, regular work, and even got a workout in. The next day I was leaving town for a trip, so I was finishing up that night by packing up my bags and preparing everything. As I finished loading my car, I realized I forgot to fill the tank. This was around 3 a.m. So without much thought for the time, I figured that I'd hop over to the gas station a few blocks from my neighborhood and fill up quick, then I could take a nap and hit the road. Calling for my dog, an American Bulldog, we loaded up and went to the gas station. I live in a more rural area, so you don't ever hear of anything bad or creepy happening. So honestly, it didn't cross my mind to be cautious as I pulled into an empty gas station. The place was located on the side of the highway with no buildings around it. Open land waiting to be developed. And since the place was dead, it would be a quick stop. My routine was to always roll down my windows when I stopped the car with my dog inside, as we have hot summers where I live, and he's locked me out before. It's become so ingrained in my head that even in the winter, or with other people in the car, I automatically roll the windows down. Like any other stop, I start to pump my gas and turn to look at my car to keep an eye on my dog as she stares out the windshield. At the click of the nozzle finishing, I turned and found myself face to face with a tall, thin man dressed in dark clothes. There was maybe 6 inches between our faces. Startled, I stumbled back and gasped as he reached towards me without speaking. I don't know if I've ever felt so terrified. It was probably less than a second. My brain was already reeling with ways to escape this man. Before I had any time to react further, my dog flew out the SUV window and landed on the concrete between me and the stranger. I'll tell you what, I've never once felt afraid of my dog, but seeing him at the moment, I found myself taking a shaky step backwards. He looked like a freaking porcupine. Every hair on his body stood straight up. I honestly couldn't take my eyes off my dog as I heard a rumble come from him. His entire body looked like it was vibrating. I could see the corners of his lips pull up into a snarl. His tail stood straight up in the air, a posture that he never held before, and it was like he was standing on his tippy toes, leaning forward with his chest puffed out. His ears were pushed forward, eyes locked on the man, and drool dripping from his mouth. It was like he was trying to make himself appear larger and more intimidating than he was. Maybe 2 more seconds passed before the man turned to run, tripping over the gas line, which caused gas to spill, scrambling back to his feet and disappearing into the dark. My dog didn't move for moments after that, and admittedly, I didn't either. But then he changed back to his normal goofy self, side wiggles, tail wagging, tongue hanging out of the side of his mouth. We ran inside and called the police, but didn't find the guy. I honestly don't know if his intentions were to hurt me, or if he was going to ask me for money, but it was 3 a.m. in the middle of nowhere, and is easily one of the most terrifying moments of my life. I don't go to gas stations in the middle of the night anymore, and probably won't ever again. And you bet, my dog got a few gas station hot dogs. It happened when I was 12 or 13 years old. We were visiting our ex-neighbors and took our 2 little dogs with us. Our parents asked my friend and I to take our dogs on a walk. While on our way back to the apartment, we saw a creepy dude walking in our direction. His behavior was so weird, whistling very suspiciously, looking at the sky with a terrifying grin on his face. I knew it was bad the second our dogs were growling and barking at him, way before he got near us. They never do this. They are so nice and sweet that I would expect them to greet a thief breaking into our home. We naturally ran away and got back home quickly. Turns out, this guy was known in our neighborhood for being a pedophile and had several other mental issues. When I was little, I begged my parents to get a dog every chance I got. For my 12th birthday, they finally said yes, and we got our first puppy. About a year later, I was taking him for a walk. It wasn't late, but the sun was setting, so we just went around the block. One of my neighbors, other side of the block, so we didn't know them, were having a party, and him and some other men were in the garage drinking and smoking. I walked past with my dog. He's an old English sheepdog, so he's big and gets a lot of attention when we're walking. The men called my dog over, and I don't think much of it. I let my pup guide me over to the garage. The men pet him, and I start to walk away when one of them grabs my wrist. A couple of them started asking me questions about myself. How old am I? Where am I going? And if I wanted to come inside for some pop so they can hang out with my dog. I rip my hand away, and he tries to grab me again, and my dog stands between us and starts to bark and growl at the men. As we walk away, they start calling for me to come back and laughing. So thankful that my dog noticed something was wrong and got defensive. They moved not too long after that, but I never walked that way alone again. So I'm a 13-year-old male and live somewhere in Alabama with my family. My dog Boomer has some good genes, so he's a good dog. He's a Doberman mixed with some sort of hound, so he had guard dog genes in him and hunting. Boomer had different sounds for different things. He had a whiny bark for when he needed something. He had his kind of deepish bark that's equivalent to, "Hey, what's that?" And then he had his aggressive bark when the thing he was barking at gets too close. And then there's his ghost growl, a chilling howl when he finds something. So I'm kind of reading some stories on Reddit when I hear Boomer switching between his whiny bark and his deep bark. I go outside to check on him because he might be stuck or sees another dog. When I get outside, I see Boomer looking in the area behind him while pacing back and forth, looking at me and the field area. I get close to Boomer, and his ears go back, and his fur on his lower back stands up. He begins barking aggressively. I stupidly get too close to find out what he's barking at. A man lunges at me, and out of reflex, I jerk backwards towards Boomer. Boomer barks some more, but the guy doesn't get the hint and keeps coming at me. Boomer barks a final time before jumping up and bites his arm. The man screams in pain, alerting my grandma, who looks out the kitchen window and sees everything that's happening. She calls the police while my grandpa's outside getting his gun ready. The man kicked my dog and ran off into the night. The police never found the man, but he knows if he comes back, he might get shot. Who knows what would have happened if my dog wasn't a guard dog. For backstory, my fiance, 24, and I, 21, recently got an adorable 2-year-old German Shepherd back in the end of February. She's been a great addition to our family, and she loves her mama so much. I've had many dogs in my childhood, but I've never had one so loyal or smart. Now, this encounter happened a couple weeks ago, but my mind still goes back to it every once in a while, so I thought I should share it here. My fiance and I live together in an apartment complex, which is nice and offers some nice amenities for a new pup, like a dog park and a large space of grass right outside our apartment. We usually take our pup to this space of grass and let her run around and do her business whenever she needs. This one day though, my fiance and I decided to take her out together to get some fresh air. It was a hot 90-degree day, so I was only wearing a sports bra and shorts, trying to combat the overwhelming heat. I am walking her and taking her up and down the hill until she gets done doing what she needed to do, when I notice her turn to where some of the cars are parked. She's the type of dog that loves other dogs, but doesn't care one bit about humans. I assumed maybe there was another dog around. Instead of turning back to finish her business, she keeps her eye on the cars, purposely positioning herself between me and the cars. A few minutes later, I watch a man exit around the cars, me not noticing him before because some of the foliage. During all of this, my fiance was a little bit out of it, so he doesn't notice any of it. But as the man walks around the cars and down the road, around the grass, my pup is tracking him with her eyes, keeping separation between me and the man. Eventually the man stops, pulls out his phone, pointing up to the sky to take a photo. My fiance, still being the goof that he is, stares up at the sky too, comments about how beautiful it is. Because my pup is staring at the sky, I'm staring at him. I just have this feeling that there's something wrong with him. My pup doesn't care about other humans. They could walk by at any time, and she wouldn't give them a second glance. But with him, it was different. When he finished taking the photo of the sky, I watched him turn his phone towards me and my dog and take a photo of us. Now I know. I was scantily clad, but it was hot out, and all I was doing was taking my dog out to poop, nothing else. I locked eyes with this man, and I could tell that it freaked him out a bit, seeing that I had caught him trying to snap a photo. He hurried away after getting caught. My pup and I were watching him walk down the road. I haven't seen him since that incident. I'm not sure if he lives in the complex, or if he was just walking through, but I'm happy my German Shepherd, Clementine, was looking out for me. But she got plenty of treats when we got back inside. So this just happened today, a few hours ago. My brother, mom, and I, along with our dog, were staying at a hotel for a few days to visit a college town. So at maybe around 5:30 to 6 p.m., we were all hungry. My mom ordered some food and we walked to the restaurant a few minutes away to pick it up. A little background, we got my dog as a rescue back in 2008. She is a pit bull and took a bit to warm up to us, but now she loves us and wants to protect us. Of course, my dog cannot go in the restaurant, so me and my brother stayed outside with my dog on a bench. Lots of people walked by, most of them college-age girls, and they all maybe pat or say hello to my dog. My dog is very friendly and wanted to say hello to everyone. She rarely growls at people. All of this is relevant. So my brother was probably on his phone, and I was just sitting there, petting my dog. I wasn't looking at people, but I was watching out of the corner of my eyes. I see this man, maybe 40 to 50 years old. He was walking down the sidewalk, and then he stopped. I couldn't tell what he was doing, because there weren't a lot of signs around for him to be reading from where he was, and he didn't take out his phone or anything. He just stopped. I look at my dog to see how she's reacting, and she stopped wagging her tail and was just looking at him. He started to take a step towards us again, and my dog growls at him. She doesn't bark, just a little growl. Then he turns around and goes back to where he came from. Now, there are plenty of justifiable reasons for his actions. Maybe he was looking for something. Maybe he went the wrong way, so he turned around. Maybe my dog was growling at something else. I think my assumptions are reasonable. Hey, this is Bad Vibes. If you made it this far, thank you, I appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button. If you want to support this channel even more than you already are, you can become a channel member for 99 cents a month, which you get early access to my videos. Or you can buy some merch, but if you do, please send me a pic so I can tweet it out. I hope you have a good night. Till next time.